You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Well, hello there, and welcome back to the Soul Forge. This is episode number
105.
Welcome to the Soul Forge, a place of silent mystery, quiet contemplation, and outright mayhem. Join your host, Sean Vanderloo, as he guides you through the adventures of living. Together, we'll talk about life and love, sex and dating, joy and heartache, memories and loss, and so much more. Don't worry, it's not nearly as pretentious as it sounds. Get ready for life, the universe, and everything on the Soul Forge.
Hey, Steph.
Hey!
You're still here.
I am.
I don't know what episode number this is until I actually put it out there because we're just recording a bunch in a row because this is still the Stephanie cycle.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's kind of like a time travel thing in a way because the first one we recorded was episode 90. This is the fourth one. But this is not episode 93. This is episode 100 and something probably.
Absolutely.
Because I wanted to stretch out your time here in the podcast world as we go.
And it'll be spring where I live.
Yes.
It'll still be winter here.
It
Because
might
even
be.
if it's June, it'll still be winter here.
That's because we have 14 months of winter every year.
Yes, in every 12-month cycle.
It's true.
It's true. Very
Yes,
true.
it is. Yes, it is. So what are we going to talk about on this episode? We've been getting progressively more drunk as we've been recording episodes.
Love it.
You've brought all these beers up for me to sample. And normally I don't drink beer, but for
That's my signature move.
for some reason tonight I'm really enjoying it.
It's because it's with me. I'm sorry.
Maybe.
Sorry, not sorry?
Sorry, not sorry. Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Oh my god, I'd be so annoying in the 20s, or in my 20s.
If you had social
about-
media back in the 90s,
Oh my god, could you imagine? I'd be hashtagging everything.
we'd be ruined.
And yet, very sadly, I just, maybe a year ago, finally understood the concept of what hashtag meant.
Really?
Yes.
What does it mean?
It means shout out. Kind of, let's draw attention to this.
Yeah, this is the topic we're
Hashtag
discussing.
funny.
Yes.
Yeah, it's stupid and millennial, and I have jumped on board. In my head, I hashtag everything.
Oh.
And it's only with you, Sean, that I feel that I can just kind of sing-song the hashtags out.
I am gratified that you feel that comfort around me, I guess. Perhaps.
Yeah, this also, speaking of time traveling, you sound like drunk Sean from university.
Is that what I sounded like back when I was...
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So I haven't changed my drunk style.
No, it kind of creeps up and all of a sudden you don't look drunk, except that you look much more sleepy than usual. But you don't look drunk or really sound drunk, but your sentences come out odd.
More articulate, perhaps?
They sound like they would be articulate, but when you pay attention to the actual word usage or order, it's all mixed up.
Oh.
So it's like, I am very articulate. But that's what you think you're saying, but it's like, articulate, am I very?
Right. So
Yeah.
like Yoda.
But not as...
Eloquent.
Or deep.
Right.
He makes it sound deep, you make it sound, what?
Oh. What are we drinking right now?
Did you want to do your little beginning part?
What?
You haven't said now this is, now we're going to,
Talk about...
You usually insert, like we do a little intro,
Yeah.
and then you go into, and now we're going to shout out to whatever, and blah, 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 and then we get into the meat of the episode again.
I don't know what to talk about.
Okay.
Are you talking about playing promos for other episodes here on the ESO network?
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes I do that at the beginning. Sometimes I do that in the middle. Sometimes I do it at the end. You never know when the Soul Forge is going to play a promo for another podcast here on the ESO network. But since you brought it up,
Might
here's
as well
one
do
now.
it right now.
Yeah.
In a world where podcasters talk about the same old pop culture topics, two heroes must rise to bring forth a new era of podcast entertainment. The Cigar Nerds Podcast, movie reviews, pop culture debates, news, science, and even beer reviews. We're stranger than Stranger Things and funnier than an evil sewer clown. CigarNerdPodcast.com. We all smoke down here, Georgie.
And how was that promo?
That was really good. I am looking forward to hearing another one of their episodes.
Right,
actually.
because there are so many podcasts in the ESO family that there's so much that you could listen to.
I hardly have the time, but I'm really trying to make time to do this because it's fascinating listening to other people.
And you know what's funny about that? If we're going to look behind the curtain a little bit and do some time travel, I don't know what podcast promo I played because I haven't edited the podcast yet because we're talking right now.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know we could give that away.
We can.
I am really hoping that was not some kind of racist bullshit, is all I'm saying when I say, oh my gosh, I want to hear another episode. I hope it wasn't something that I would really not want to hear.
I don't think there are any racist podcasts here in the ESO family.
Probably not, actually, yes.
I don't think Mike and Mike would stand for that.
No, and to be honest, you're right. Absolutely.
Because racism does not go over very well in this day and age.
Absolutely not.
No. In fact, if you want to know about racism, you might want to listen to episode 89 of the Soul Forge podcast.
Actually, I did, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah?
And it makes me, it made me want to actually talk to her myself.
Deidre.
Yeah, Deidre. Yeah. Sorry.
She is a cool lady, and I'm glad she came to the post office and I've gotten to know her. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she's really fascinating. And maybe by the time this episode comes out, she'll have already been on the podcast again. You never know.
That's really awesome.
Because these are being spread out, the Stephanie Cycle episodes.
Yeah.
This might be 110, and even...
It could be 200.
Who
knows?
It could be. Just depends on what I feel like.
Just keep the people hanging on there.
Yeah, that's right.
Just how long does it take them to get fully drunk? A year? A month? Who knows?
Even though it all happened in one evening.
One evening.
It's
Oh
like-
my God, I love this
like
topic. Is awesome.
Time travel, Stephanie.
Yes.
Time travel.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I always thought it might be flight, but it might be the power to control minds.
Really?
Or influence
Oh.
people, at least.
But didn't you learn your lesson from Jessica Jones?
Yeah, you're right. It would probably be immortality and super health.
Oh, but haven't you heard about any of the sadness from all of those depressed vampires?
No, tell me more.
This is not the podcast for that. What I was actually getting at,
Yeah.
I was in a long-term relationship with a self-professed geek, and her biological son, my stepson, is also a very proud and out geek.
Does he or she listen to the Rusted Robot podcast that I also do?
He does not. Maybe I should let him know. I am going to let him know. I'm going to make him listen to me.
I will give you some business cards.
Excellent. I will pass them out to people. And they will say, who are you? Why are you giving me this? And I'll say, listen to it.
Just like Gollum.
Ooh, that is one creepy statue you have.
My precious podcast.
My precious fish.
Yeah.
Sorry, you have to see the... Never mind, that's a visual.
Because you're talking about the statue I got from the box set of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, is that what it was?
It came with the Super Deluxe box set.
Did he love
DVD.
fish? Is that what he ate?
There was an part of the movie where he was eating the fish and he was singing a song and stuff.
The candy pool is my sun cools, juicy sweet. Around neighbors to catch a fish, so juicy sweet.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was smacking it against the rock to kill it.
Was he beating his fish?
He was beating his fish. Could be perverted. We're not that drunk.
Oh, that's for episode number 5. The drunk one. Okay.
Yes.
So, anyway, time travel. We've been flipping all over the place. But so I was talking about, and this does feed into it. My stepson would, every now and then, kind of come up with, okay, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And I would always answer the exact same way. They changed it up and they would talk about it and blah, blah, blah. And I always said invisibility. And it got so bad that, okay, so if you could have any superpower except invisibility, what would it be? And that's when I would answer, well, I just wouldn't have one.
Oh.
But invisibility
Or
would
nothing.
the whole reason behind it, so that I could go and witness. I love witnessing things.
Historical events.
Times. Historical events, well, everything is historic. So even right now, I would love to also be invisible watching us do this podcast.
Ooh,
because
how meta.
Is that what meta means?
Kind of.
I guess so.
It's layers within layers.
Layers within layers. I like it.
And that's
So-
kind of like what we're talking about now. We're talking about time travel moments.
Yes.
If we could go back and witness certain historical events, not change them, not influence
Just-
them, maybe
just
not even be seen.
witness.
Maybe just our consciousness goes back and can see something. Like, so we couldn't go back and kill Hitler and change the outcome of the entire civilization of humanity.
I still want to be born.
Right. Because I was thinking about that the other day. If we went back in time and killed Hitler, that so many things would change.
So many things.
The world would be totally different. We wouldn't learn our lessons.
I never did say what this was.
Oh, what is this podcast sponsored
so,
by?
this one is sponsored, and we say that in air quotes, Sleeping Giant Brewing Company out of
Thunder Bay.
Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. We are right now imbibing Northern Lager, or as we also like to call it, Straight White Man.
Yes.
When I cracked it open, so we have been trying all these new and fancy things. I was like, ooh, and my first thing is I open the beer, I smell the beer, and I give my first impression of the beer. And so I crack this one. I've had it before. Ooh, isn't this nice? Put it under my nose, and oh, it smells like pee. It just smells slightly urine-y. And I'm not saying that means it's bad, because I'm actually quite enjoying it. I enjoy it better than the Life in the Clouds, the IPA that we just had. This is a golden ale. But it is just kind of a straightforward man of the woods kind of thing. You know? He's probably out there chopping trees and getting cold and swatting bugs and peeing in a bottle and drinking it.
Peeing in the forest.
Yep, just peeing on the forest floor. And you know what? That's good enough for me.
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far.
Yes, even though I'm Canadian.
That's a quote from Iron Man.
That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far.
Oh, well then I will never watch Iron. I can't. One thing that I don't like about the Marvel Universe is that it is like, America!
Hiya! Right.
America!
But that has nothing to do with time travel.
No. Let's travel back.
Let's refocus. I know we've been drinking.
do quite like this.
We've been having some drinks and we're feeling pretty good. But
Yes. So top 3. What are the 3 things?
top time travel moments that we could go back into history and witness.
And witness.
Well, I always thought I would like to see or be there during the Woodstock concert of 1969, just to see exactly what it was like.
See.
I guess I couldn't experience it because I'm not a physical human. I'm just maybe riding around in somebody's consciousness because we don't, we can't actually be there and change events.
Would you want to be an invisible entity separate from everything so that you could just kind of float around and visit
And
so many things, or just be attached to one person and experience their one perspective?
That's good. I like that. So you could either just be a floating invisible drone camera
that just picks up on everything.
Or you could go into people's consciousness, float in, float out, and experience what they experience for a moment in time. I would do the moment in time, like, I want to be what this guy's feeling right now. I'm going to go over here and be the guitarist for this band who is on the stage. I'm going to be this guy in the crowd who is just puked on. Yeah. So I would do that. I would just experience people's separate moments because that's a big historical event. Summer 2019 is the 50th anniversary concert.
Whoever owns that farm, they better be damn prepared.
Yeah.
It's going to be burnt down.
I'm trying to convince my brothers that we should go see it this August. Maybe this episode's already come out after that. I don't know when this is going to come out.
Ooh, time travel.
Time travel. But I would love to see 1969's Woodstock and just experience it. What's one that you would like to go see?
This is going to be maybe a little bit boring. There are two that are, I can't decide which one I want to do more. I would like to be there for the execution or the crucifixion of Jesus.
Me
I
too!
want to know, no, it's not that I want to know what happened. Well, and here's where English gets weird.
Mm-hmm.
I want, as if it's something in the future, right?
Yeah.
I want to have had, so future past, whatever that's called. I didn't actually study anything. But I want to have had the experience of being there, to see what happened, to see when he was brought out, what the reaction of the crowd was. When I want to have been in the presence of Jesus, whoever he was and whatever he embodied, as he said, why, Father?
Why hast thou forsaken me?
Why have you forsaken me? I want to see that, and I want to know what it was that came over the crowd that caused 2 or 3 people to then be moved so deeply that they had to create a written account.
Okay.
A written account, but imbue it? I don't know. But to infuse it with so much meaning, such a deeper meaning.
Yes.
I want deeply to have been a witness to the crucifixion of Jesus.
I would pick the same historical event, but a month before the crucifixion and a month after. I want to witness the whole thing.
Yes. I would love to have been there for that whole friggin' week that he came and made everyone so fucked up that they were like, we have to kill this fucking man.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
I would be the magical drone. I would go into Jesus' head. I would go into Judas's head. I would go into Pontius Pilate's head. I would go into all these guys. I'd go into Peter's head, or whoever the guy who gave him the tomb was. I'd like to see all that stuff. Maybe none of that stuff actually happened for real.
I believe that it actually did happen.
I would like to think it did, but we don't know for sure. That's 2,000 years ago. There's no way to know.
No, but things lead to. There is no way to know. This is my favorite interpretation of it, is that he might not have been actually resurrected for realsies, but the people who he moved so deeply, the theory that I've heard is that his body was kind of swapped out or stolen so that they could, because his message was so strong and that his followers felt that it was so important that they needed to make a myth of him because it couldn't just end. After all of their years of strife and all that kind of stuff, something major needed to happen. And so something happened so that he was never actually placed in the tomb, so that when they rolled the rock away and he was gone, they could then, it's a miracle. He did live into this. And so they could create the legend so that would basically ensure that his voice would be carried forward.
Have you read the book The Zealot by Reza Aslan?
Not yet, but I've heard some amazing things.
You should read it. It talks a lot about the speculation on how his life actually would have been. I have it here somewhere.
You've read it?
I've read it. I picked it up at the used bookstore in North Bay when I was there last summer or the summer before. Really good book. A lot of speculation, a lot of what have yous. I can't think of the words because I've been drinking for the last hour and a half.
I like that.
But definitely pick that up, The Zealot by Reza Aslan. Good book. And yeah, that's one of my time travel things that I would pick as well. And then to go into my own personal history, I would like to see when my grandparents first met.
Interesting.
And maybe hang around there for a few months to see how their courtship began and what the actual ins and outs of that whole story was.
That's fascinating. I can sort of follow you there.
Okay.
But I do find it difficult because in a way I have time traveled. And so I guess you feel pretty sure that you're not going to be shocked with some kind of awful, oh my God, I thought it would be romantic. No, they just boned and really loved it.
I think...
Or do you want to know that?
You know what? I would like to know, because my speculation is I think they started dating, they got pregnant, and because it was the 50s, they had to get married. Because they got married in February of 1957, and my uncle was born in September of 1957.
That was pretty quick.
So there was something going on, and I think they had to get married because of that. But I would like to know the historical truth.
Yes. And I guess, yes. I remember listening to stories and kind of figuring out, wait a minute, there's a big age difference between Grandma and Grandpa. And, well, they must have gotten pregnant right away. Or, were you premature, Mom? No. And that doesn't really matter. You're not calculating it right. And in that little part of my brain that is like, don't question, just go forward. I was like, oh, okay, yep. But I think it was a September-February, or February-September kind of a thing. And it's like, wait a minute. That was like a good 10 years. Wait a minute.
Something's not adding up here.
He was a bad boy. And she came from... Stephanie, stop it. Okay. I won't listen anymore. Or I won't go forward. So I don't want to learn about that. I think we talked about this earlier, and yeah, I unfortunately had to hear I had a beautiful story about how my mom and dad met, and then as an adult, I got to know how they really met, and that made me really uncomfortable, because I'm still, whether I'm 7 or 27, I am still the product of their love,
you
and
are.
I would like to believe that, and not just, your dad was pretty friggin' well hung. He was good in the sack. Thanks. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Dad. I know so much about you.
Right.
So.
And speaking of that, since we're going to time travel, I would like to travel back to the night that you and I engaged in what we might call holy matrimony.
Okay, we could call it that. I think I have a lot of partners who would say, no, I'm not married to you stuff.
Right, but I would like to be a witness in the room, like a camera in the corner of the room, seeing us interact.
You want to have recorded us?
Well, just in my consciousness, to see the first time that I made love.
Okay.
And to see exactly how I acted and responded, and why I didn't notice that the music was the same thing playing over again 57 times.
57. You
I just keep making it go on forever, because I was epic in bed.
It could have been 4.
It could have, yeah.
I think it was more than 4. But...
I hope so. And and for my final thing, which relates to this, I've been thinking about this memory for a long time and figuring out how to get this on the Soul Forge. I wanted to do a whole podcast about memories and stuff, but there's not enough to go with it. But my earliest memory is when I'm about, I think, maybe 6 or 9 months old. And I had just been baptized. I remember being on the steps of the church after being baptized. My dad is holding me. The sun is in my eyes. I'm afraid of being dropped, because my dad had never held me before, or it was very rare when he held me. But there was pictures being taken. It was cold on my face. The sun was in my eyes. He's holding me, but he's not holding me right. And I'm saying to him, listen, you're not holding me right, Dad. You're going to drop me. Give me back to Mom. But all that came out was as crying, because I was a kid. But that's my earliest memory.
That's beautiful. I
was born in September, and I think this was May. So however many months that is later, maybe 9 months. I was 9 months old, being baptized, and I'm afraid of being dropped. And that's my earliest memory. I would like to go back to that time and see exactly where this church was, if it was May, if it was cold, if the sun was in my eyes, if I was looking like I was afraid of being dropped. Because that's my earliest memory.
That is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then I don't have a memory till I'm like 3 or 4 years old after that. But
that was very formative.
That was so intense. My first memory is one of fear of being dropped. And maybe that's Maybe that has shaped my entire life.
Oh my gosh, we could go so deep into this.
That sounds like another podcast episode.
Holy crap, yes.
Yeah. So you should tell me one more.
One more. You've got 4. I only get 2?
We'll do 2 more then.
Okay, so the one that I want up there with Jesus is I also want to be this. Does this make me morbid? I would like to be there on the day that Socrates chose to die.
Oh, when he drank the hemlock.
When he drank the hemlock.
In 399
BC. 399 BC. I believe that it might have been closer to when Jesus... I think there was more of a correlation between Jesus and Socrates, but anyway, I've done a lot of independent study on my own with no guidance from any teachers or actual stuff, just my intuition and gut and feelings about things, and I believe that they were friends.
Maybe. But I definitely agree with you with the whole Socrates thing, where he said the unexamined life is not worth living.
That's gonna be.
That's a great quote. I love it. I've always thought about it, and yes, I would love to see the whole thing of Socrates.
God, I would love to watch. I would love to watch him stand up for himself and say, "Do you know what? I will die for this belief.
For what I believe in, yeah.
For what I believe in. You cannot make me take this back." I have an interesting story about Socrates and his mother, and I will bring that up on our Drunk podcast.
Okay.
Because that one's going to be maybe a little bit longer.
Oh, way to hook the audience for another upcoming episode.
Oh, you just wait, audience. If I knew any of your names, John.
Richard from Australia.
Richard! Oh my God, that was the synchronicity.
Yeah.
Everything is connected.
It is.
My future podcast talking about time travel. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I'm still thinking about it, but by the time this episode is released, I might actually have it. And we will insert a computer voice that says www. I don't know.
Whatever your podcast is, if you've released it by that point, whenever this episode comes out.
Everything is connected.
I think what we'll do is we'll do a Skype call, or I'll come down and visit you when you're ready to do your podcast, and we'll do a whole Stephanie Launches podcast episode of the Soul Forge.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I know.
Oh my God, that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll bring it right back to why you launched the Soul Forge in the first place.
Exactly.
Yep. So Jesus, Socrates, and those are my 2
major ones.
Favorite people. And I don't know, how open can I get?
You can get as open as you want. This is the Soul Forge, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything.
Does it need to be something deep and introspective?
No.
And that makes us look, like intellectuals? And you said that I was classy for some damn reason.
That was another episode.
Okay, then I will group this into the best, most memorable times I've had physically with other people.
Okay.
So that's kind of like us, but I would like to go back and be witness to some of the times that I have been physically intimate with people that at the time or in the moment I have thought, wow, this has been absolutely amazing, and I would love to witness that as a third person, as a third party kind of thing, and just see if in fact it was that mind-blowing.
That's very good to see how other people see you.
And also, this is a tiny bit of an aside, it might make people laugh, which will bring them coming back a little bit to my podcast. So I was at my exercise class 2 weeks ago, and I know that I was giving it my all, and I am aware that my face is very, very expressive, and I was trying not to think about that and just giving everything I had to my exercising. And the trainer said something like, this is my favorite part. I love looking at your faces, man. And I immediately thought, I was aware of my face, and I was aware that it felt similar in structure to my O face. And I thought, oh no, are random people who are exercising seeing my orgasm face, or when I am having an orgasm, do I look like I'm working out? What is the difference? Oh my God, did I miscount? Did I suddenly have horrible form and suddenly went, oh, I have to go pee, I'll be right back, and take a moment to just collect myself at the sink? Yes, that is what happened. And then the very next time that I had sex, did I think, oh shit, this is what I look like when I'm working out. And it ruined the experience in my mind.
No doubt.
Absolutely, that's what happened. Did I not explain it very well and then leave the interlude feeling like, well, that wasn't great? I think you might have ruined this.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, that happened too.
you think too much.
Way too much. Way too much. Make it stop, Sean. Make it stop.
Well, since we're making it stop, this is the end of the podcast. Perfect timing, since I have to go pee because we've been drinking all this beer.
Again, it's only been like 29 minutes.
I know. What are you doing to me?
You old man!
I know, I'm 42. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast. What are your time travel moments, listeners?
Yes, write them in.
soulforgepodcast@gmail.com. Leave a 5-star review in the podcast store.
Absolutely. Make everyone listen to this.
Share the links with all your friends and followers on social media. Go to soulforgepodcast.com. And remember, be the kind of person you want to meet.
Ooh, I like that one.
This has been another episode of the Soulforge Podcast. Find us on Twitter @SoulforgePod or email the show via soulforgepodcast@gmail.com. Soulforge is a production of Shawn Vanderloo and Friends. You can find Shawn on Twitter and Instagram @DarthVaderloo. Remember to visit soulforgepodcast.com for all of our social media links and share the show with everyone you know. Thanks for stopping by the Forge. We'll keep the fires lit until your next visit.
Doctor by our side, we'll keep our eyes wide. We're running for our lives. Look each other in the eye. We'll escape into time. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, we're traveling through time. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. There's no time to say goodbye. We're traveling through time.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.